Look, check this out. When you're married or when you dating somebody, you always want to pull out the stops to kind of do for that person, right? And being a married man, you want to provide the best life you can provide for your family or your spouse according to your finances. Like if you can afford it, you want your family in a nice, safe, decent vehicle. If you can afford it, you would want your woman to have her hair done and looking good. If you can afford it, you would like to go sit down and eat at a nice restaurant every so often if you can afford it. Now, I've seen guys do things for their spouse some guys wouldn't do. Like I'm listening to this guy online, and look, for instance, the guy online was talking about this basketball player PJ Washington and how he got Brittany Renner pregnant, and Brittany Renner have him on child support for I think it's like $5,000 a month. Now the guy PJ Washington, they say he spoils his wife, buy bags, nice cars. Yeah, you're a millionaire, it really don't matter. Like everybody was talking about how that one football player bought Taylor Smith, whatever the singer, Taylor Swift, whatever her name is, the country singer. I think he spent millions on a ring, but somebody was saying that's really just 10% of his net worth, really like 5% of his net worth. They were saying that's like the everyday guy go buy his wife a $1,500 wedding ring. Now look, when I bought my wife's wedding ring, I think that wedding ring was like $1,700, right? Now, the money I'm making today, I can get my wife a $6,000 wedding ring. You see how it's different levels? There's different levels. And look, my wife called me. She said, hey, that crab man in town. Because they have what you call Tasty Thursdays in Goshen. And if I can get time to get off, I'll let my wife go up there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard going to a food truck dragging 5 kids or 2 small kids. So normally, and it's only like once a month. So whenever I get time, I go. I stop what I'm doing, meet her up there, sit in the van with the kids. She run, get her food, and then I jump back on the route. Well, anyway, I just call her, check on her as I go through my day. I always call my wife. She said, hey, the crab man in Pascagoula. And I remember she been talking about this crab man for the past 6-7 months. And I was like, man, I'm not paying all that money for no crabs. Flip him. So the dude was here like 4 months ago. I'm like, man, I'm not paying all that money for no crabs. It was like, I think the plate she wanted was like $60, and I didn't buy it, right? And now $60 that's nothing to a guy that's to a guy that work at McDonald's. $60 is nothing. $60 is nothing. So I was talking on the phone with her today. She said, hey, the crab man back in town. I said, yeah, he overcharging. She was like, yeah, but she said, if I had time, I knew he was in town, I would have bought that plate. So I thought about it. I'm like, well, where he at? He in Pascagoula. And I was just finishing up a property. I was like, man, the interstate right there, I can run over there and get that plate. So I said, well, what you was gonna get? She was like, I was gonna get that little $59 plate, $60 plate, whatever. So I'm like, bro, you can afford to go get your woman this plate. I'm like, yeah, man, I gotta shut my route down and run all the way on the other side of town to spend $60 on some flipping crabs. And when I was saying that to myself, I remember listening to this guy on this YouTube channel. Well, anyway, back to the PJ Washington story. You see how PJ Washington make millions. This guy was like, I don't make nowhere near half of what PJ Washington make. He said, but I spend that. He said, I spend that amount of money on my wife. He said, I just bought my wife a $11,000 handbag. I can't afford that. He said, I bought my wife $11,000 handbag. He said, I bought my wife a G-Wagon for Mother's Day. He said, my wife got an Escalade, one of the newer Escalades. She got a G-Wagon. And there was some other kind of car his wife had. Now again, this guy, he make millions a year. But he don't make NBA player money. And this guy was saying, he was like, man, My wife was with me when I was making $20,000 a year. He said, I'm making millions now. He said, it's been times, he said, me as an entrepreneur, you have ups and downs in business. He said, it's been times I would push a bill to the side to get my wife a gift. And he was saying, you know, you got to have an abundant mindset. You're going to always make money back. Life is short. You just passing through. You're not staying. And that makes sense. You are passing through life. You're not staying. And he said what he don't want to happen is you look up one day, your spouse passed away, and you're going to wish some of the things they wanted you would have done. Right? Now, I equate that to a small scale. My wife been talking about these crabs for about 6 to 7 months. They $60. Bro, go down there and get the doggone crab. So I shut my route down. Went and got my wife a platter. And when I got her snow crabs, and I'm the type of guy, I'm like, look, you can go to the crab buffet and spend $60 and eat all the crabs you want. She said, okay, well, what day you gonna take off and we can all go up there as a family? I'm like, hold up, I'm not about to pay for them. Them crab buffets are like $60 a person. My niece, when my niece graduated high school, we went to the crab buffet as a family, and I spent $220 because it's $60 a person. So I had to pay for my 2 oldest kids, but my 3 small ones I didn't have to pay. See, it was something like that. I ended up spending like $220. So I said, nah. She said, well, you can take off, keep the kids, and then you can just pay for me to go. And I know I don't have time to do that. I said, man, let me just shut down, run up here. And I did. I shut my route down, ran up here. As y'all can see, I got this big, in this platter, in this right here is snow crabs, shrimps, sausage, and corn. I shut down and went and got this for my wife. Now, this platter right here wasn't $60 flipping. But I did that for my wife. I said, you know what? I got the money. Let me run over here and get this for my wife. Because she wasn't calling me to say she wanted it. But if it's not gonna break the bank and you can do something for your wife, do it. Because then this is what I said to myself. I said, bro, that dude that's cutting hair, you gave him $100 to cut your hair. With the woman you sleep beside every night, the woman you had kids with, the woman who have sacrificed a lot so you can go out and create and run your business, you can't spend X amount of dollars and go run out and buy your spouse some crabs. I immediately shut the route down when it done it. So I'm fixing to go drop this off at my house and jump back on the route. And this car has broken down in the middle.